Imagine a casino. I don't have to. If I'm awake, I'm already there. But for you non-dopamine maxers, it's loud, it's bright, and you know damn well exactly what this temple to man's excess is and what it's designed to do to your brain, addiction, and your bank account depletion. Now imagine that same casino, but now instead of neon signs and vomit stains, it looks like those Japanese cartoons you seem to enjoy so much. The dealers are tasteful and very legally aged anime characters. The chips are called Primo Gems, and while the entrance is completely free, your bank account is now completely empty. That's not a hypothetical, that's the modern gacha gaming market. Gambling, but not quite. No seedy backrooms necessary when the casino hall is technically an actual game and the marketing departments are influencers, popular streamers, and content creators. Firstly, and quickly, what is gacha? The word itself comes from gashapon, Japanese vending machines where you put in a yen, turn a handle, and perform a pull, thereby receiving a random capsule toy. You don't know what you're going to get when you pull. That's the point. That's the fun. Will you get a random piece of plastic bullshit that will end up in a landfill, or will you get an entirely differently colored piece of plastic bullshit that will end down the throat of an endangered turtle? Either way, you are 12 years old and don't care, but now you are no longer 12. You are depressed and nor wooded. Yet this mechanic is now deeply embedded in certain types of video games. These games are called gacha games, and imported this mechanic directly into the digital realm. You accumulate currency either by playing or, most importantly, by paying, and then you pull for a random chance at characters, weapons, cosmetics, etc, etc. The best ones are rare, and the better they are statistically, the more brutally difficult they become to acquire. Importantly, most gacha games are free to play. There is no upfront cost for the download, save your dignity when your Steam friends see what type of games you play. But the thing the download screen doesn't tell you is that the game isn't actually free to play, it is at best free to sample. Every gacha game is architecturally designed around a concept known as the wall. You can progress, you can engage, you can have a genuine fun right up until the moment where you can't. The difficulty spikes and the grind becomes inhuman. The content you want to see or the character you want to have is right there, but it's locked behind hours upon days of real-time grinding and praying to RNGesus.
Scam? That's the old animation? There's no tea time or anything? Oh, because she's only a 2-star. Now I see why people put in their credit card, because they want the full gas animation.
The wall isn't a bug. It's a feature. It isn't an oversight in game design because it is the actual game. It is the product. The chore, the wall the developer puts in your way is intentional, and its entire purpose is to make you ask yourself the question, is my time worth more than my money? For many players, particularly adults, with access to disposable income, or teenagers with access to their parents' credit card, the answer you are being led towards is yes. And that's the trap, because skipping the chore is a perfectly reasonable, low-commitment sounding decision. It doesn't feel like gambling, because gambling is overt and dirty. Gambling is pulling slots, throwing money down on the Jets winning, and being reminded that God hates you, or blacking out at the penny roulette table. This feels like convenience. This is in-game progress. Gacha games have even built pity systems into the mechanics. A guaranteed rare pull after a certain number of attempts. Very generous, huh? What it actually does is give players a concrete number to chase. I just need a couple more pulls. 10 more pulls for a 4-star. 90 more pulls for a 5-star. Suddenly, you are calculating. You are invested. The pity system doesn't limit your spending. It gives your spending a destination. But What if you aren't hooked right now? That's where streamers, YouTubers, and influencers come into the picture. When a content creator builds a fan base, they build trust. You can trust XQC to open Counter-Strike cases worth your average mortgage down payments, and you can trust Minecraft YouTubers to have very healthy relationships with their underage fan bases. And that trust in our attention deficit economy is the most valuable currency there is. Except real currency, I suppose. Don't think too much about that. Take the whale pull. A streamer spending thousands of dollars in a single session is one of the most reliably high-performing content formats in gacha gaming. It has drama, it has stakes, it has genuine emotional highs and lows. Somehow, the audience is invested in whether the streamer gets something rare. They react in real time, they live vicariously through the streamer, they even donate to help fund more pulls. You are stacking engagement on engagement on engagement. From a content perspective, it's perfect. From the gacha game developer's perspective, it's even better. It's free advertisement watched by potentially hundreds of thousands of people, produced at zero cost to them by someone their audience already trusts implicitly. For a professional content creator, that $2,000 banner pull session in Genshin or Musume isn't really $2,000. It's a business expense. It gets written off either literally as a tax-deductible content production expense or metaphorically, since the donos they get will more than cover the costs themselves. The math works for any slightly relevant streamer. The spend makes rational and professional sense. That math does not work for their audience, however. When a viewer watches a streamer drop thousands on pulls, you are watching someone for whom that money is fundamentally different in nature, different in consequence, different in recoverability, performing an act that looks on the surface identical to something you could do yourself. If you watch enough pull videos, your frame of reference shifts. A streamer spends $10,000 on a single banner, another drops $3,000. You, sitting at home, start to internalize this scale. When you open your own game and see a $50 top-up option, something in your brain whispers, that's nothing compared to what my Oshi spends. $50 for a chance at a digital character. Not a digital character, but a chance at a digital character. That's an objectively high price. It would be extraordinary in any context, even if you are buying the character outright. But now, the Overton window has moved and shifted, and now it feels almost sensible, basically conservative. For the viewer watching at home, there is no ROI, there is no tax write-off for your rent money. The streamer is protected by a financial garden that allows them to treat ruinous spending as a wild Tuesday night, while the audience is lured into mimicking that behavior without a safety net. It creates a gambling adjacent entertainment culture where the high of the win is shared, but the reality of the loss is isolated to the viewer alone. That psychological drift is not accidental. The entire economy around gacha content relies on it. The developers benefit from it. The algorithm rewards the content that causes it. And nobody in the chain is explicitly lying to you. Nobody told you to spend the money. They just made sure you'd already watched hundreds of hours of other people doing it to the utmost extreme. The true gambling streamer controversy is well documented. There's already been exposés, platform policy upheaval, prominent creators speaking out. The mechanics are overt. A person is live, wasting away on a casino slot, paid significant sums of money to be there, and the audience watches real gambling happen in real time. Gacha is different. I won't claim that it's meaningfully worse, especially with where polymarket gambling is headed, but it does feel more insidious. There is no flashing "gamble responsibly" banner. It is legally and culturally a video game. It has a story. It has characters you might genuinely love. It has artwork, voice acting, racehorse lore. It is dressed and presented at every level in the costume of wholesome video entertainment. But by spending thousands of dollars to showcase a game or a character at their absolute peak, streamers create a sanitized version of the game. They aren't showing you the game you downloaded, they are showing you the game as it exists behind a $5,000 technically non-obligatory paywall. One related lawsuit have already occurred back in January 2025 when the FTC finalized a $20 million settlement with the developer of Genshin Impact. While much of the case is focused on data privacy, evidence centered on what the FTC called unfair and deceptive trade practices explicitly highlighted how Genshin used a multi-tiered currency system specifically to obscure the true cost of playing. They found that this confusing math made it nearly impossible for minors to understand how much of their parents' real-world money they were actually lighting on fire. In addition to that is the FTC's direct aim at the promotional pipeline in connection with this. The official complaint alleged that Genshin Impact spent millions on influencer, streamer, and YouTuber campaigns that glamorized the excitement of pulling for characters while misleading the public about the statistical reality. One specific example cited by the FTC was a promotional ad by a popular creator that was edited to depict an impossible scenario showing 12 pulls appearing simultaneously to make the process look more rewarding than the game's actual code allows. Of course, in this ad, the creator also pulls a rare 5-star, the rarest pull, with chances for certain 5 stars being as low as 0.3%.
And I'm trying to get some 5 stars. I got Zhongli! We are getting way too lucky tonight. I thought we were gonna be here all night.
These creators were paid to make the game look like a constant win, with the real chance of winning a 5-star having a basic rate chance of around 0.6%. The Genshin ads by these trusted influencers, of course, do not reflect this reality. But streamers and influencers were paid not just to appear in ads, but to play the game and to specifically appeal to their younger audiences with child-oriented activities like hide and seek. The pipeline into the pulls is the game itself. It's why streamers, YouTubers, influencers are important for that pipeline. They build the hype, they explain the meta, they manufacture the must-have status of digital assets. The developer doesn't even need to send a paycheck, although in some cases, as confirmed by the FTC, they did, but the streamer's own need for content ensures they will do the heavy lifting of selling you on the next banner pull. The pipeline it creates is not a direct one. Nobody watches a whale pull video and immediately maxes out a credit card, unless it's your dad's. Nobody watches Genshin Impact prop hunt and immediately yearns for the slot machines. What it is a gradual erosion of the psychological resistance to spending money on random digital outcomes, conducted over months or years, wrapped in entertainment you enjoy, hosted by people you trust. It's why hype is important. The digital assets have no social value if the game isn't popular. Think about how we typically talk about problem gambling. We talk about the casino floor, the poker table, the sports bettor. These are culturally legible risk environments. We have, as a society, developed some shared vocabulary around them, and they are rarely positive, even if we are seeing another erosion in the world of sports. But do we have that negative vocabulary for spending $80 on a 10-pull banner in an anime game? We don't have the cultural warning signs, we don't have the social scripts for recognizing when a hobby has become something else, especially when it concerns younger players. The issue is the system, the game design architecture, the deliberate construction of an entertainment format that uses the mechanics of chance, the social proof of streamers, and the incremental normalization of high unit cost spending to build a spending culture that benefits developers enormously and leaves at least some portion of its participants financially and psychologically worse off. The gacha industry didn't invent gambling. It didn't invent social media marketing. It didn't invent influencer culture. That would be Moloch or Baal. What it does is find the intersection of all three, wrap it in an aesthetic you care about, degen, and make the whole thing feel like nothing more than a video game. You are watching a commercial that streamers are paid to make, maybe indirectly, maybe directly, for a product designed to suck money out of you. The game might be free to sample, but a meta-relevant waifu, that's gonna cost you just about everything.
Thank you. Now watch this dry.
Alright, that was a video. Thank you very much for watching this far and supporting your local small businesses. Like, comment down below for my eyes to see, and check out some of my other videos like this one, where I yap about sunk cost fallacy and playing games you hate. Subscribe for more crumulent videos to come every Friday until the heat death of the universe, or I run out of gas. I'll see you next Friday. Stay frosty.